Hi, this is Bea from Sorcery Soap, and I wanted to talk to you today about failed soap dough. And if you've ever made soap dough by accident, it seems really easy, but when you try to make soap dough, sometimes it can go sideways. And I've been making a lot of it, and so I wanted to show you and tell you some of the things that I see and why it goes well and why it doesn't go so well. Okay. So these are the colors that we have that we made this week. So this is Midnight Blue, this is Purple Haze, Maya Gold, Serious Black, Trial by Fire Red, Firecracker Red. It's a little bit different between this, and you can see, I mean, it's hard through the plastic. This is pink, or just traditional pink, which I love. I wanted to call it carnation pink or something else, but I just think pink is fine. This is Savage Garden, sea green, lime green, and these make such, and orange. We're making orange just a bit brighter, so it's not exactly bright orange. Bright orange has a lot more neon in it, but this is nice. All of this nice fall colors, I think. And Rise and Shine, which is less bright than Sunshine and Lemon Drop and all those. Those have a little bit more gold hint to them, a little bit deeper color. Anyway, so let's see what's a good one on camera. Let's do the blue, because I like the blue. And I want to show you what actual soap dough, what I think is proper soap dough and what works the best for me. So, you know, I've been using, well, maybe you don't if you're new to the channel, but I've been making soap dough products and things and embellishments and teaching about it for quite a long time. And so there's, when I first started making it, I did it on a fluke. I mean, it was like, you know, I happened to make it. But then as I start to work with it, I realized there's a certain texture that I want. So if you can see this, see, it doesn't stick to my hands. And it's kind of firm, right? And then these are some of the things that I look for. And that when I smear it like this, it doesn't crumble. It looks nice and smooth. Now, this reminds me of clay, of polymer clay. And that is the texture that I try to achieve, so that when I use it, I can not only smear it toward each other, like and affix it pretty easily and smooth it out, but I can also like put it down. It's not going to smear my hands. Now, this, every single time we make this, every single time we make this and then we achieve this result, I'm amazed, because it's such a fine point. And so if you have struggled with soap dough and you want to get this consistency, this texture, first you have to start out with a really well-balanced recipe of hard and soft oils. Then you have to find the right amount of water for your area. So if you're in a really humid area, clearly you wouldn't want more water in there, you'd want less. And if you're in a really arid area, like I just came from sea level desert, and I wanted a bit more water in there, but not too much. You can't have too much. Okay, so let me put these aside here before I go on. So this is a measuring issue. Now, we couldn't quite determine. I clearly know this isn't available at all. This is, I'm going to use this myself. And this is lye heavy. And the concentrate is, there wasn't enough lye water put into this soap, so there wasn't enough, it's lye heavy, but there wasn't enough water, so there was too much lye in here for some reason. And I can't quite determine exactly how that happened, but I want to show you the result of it. So when I break it, let's see if I can, it's really hard. So this just was made this week, and so this shouldn't be this hard. You see how smooth that is. That was also made this week. So there, okay, that's good. See when I break it, see how it fractures like that? Now, it's not completely ruined. I can figure out how to use this, and I will. And it's actually really good. See how it fractures like that? That crumbliness. Not enough water to distribute the lye, I guess. And because it's going to turn into soap, it'll be fine. I zapped it with, on the tip of my tongue. And it's a little sparky, but it's not any big deal. And it's all saponified. It's just that the consistency is really off. So I would never offer this to you because it's so much work to utilize. But here's the upshot to it for me, what I think is the upshot. So watch me do this a bit, right? So this turns into, if I can, so you can see how it cracks right there. There's just not enough water in it, but it still smears pretty nice. You see that, the texture of it? That's why it's such a, soap dough is such a good soap dough. So anybody can make soap dough. That's just like, it's just an off, it's just a byproduct of making cold processed soap. But to make the kind that, to be able to make really detailed things that turn out really nice. So I prefer a certain type of soap dough. Okay. So now you see that it looks okay, right? It just didn't perform right. It's not consistent. It isn't right. I can tell you that. But as I'm mashing it, see how it sticks to my fingers? But this right here is beautiful. For a second though. It's not going to be like I have to make this into something immediately. So I'll make a little chicken head, a little chicken body, a little bit too long of a tail. And you don't get much wiggle room on this. So if I don't make it correct the first time, it's not going to let me squish it and remake it again very easily because of the consistency. Now, I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but please leave comments below. I'd be happy to try and clarify. But what I wanted you to see is that, well, first of all, a really wonderful quality of soap dough is difficult to achieve. And we have a lot of things in place in order to make sure that we do that. And I have, we test all of it and we want to just absolutely make sure that you get the best quality possible. But also, when it goes sideways, it's like, I can't do that. I can't offer it because this is just a lot of work. See, and I don't know, I think about it like this. Would I be happy if I got this soap dough? And I wouldn't, on one level, I wouldn't be happy, but I would be happy because I really like this. I really like the result of that and how smooth and shiny it comes. Now, I'm not a scientist. I'm a crafter. I'm a soap maker, and I try to observe the results versus subjectively desiring the results. And when I see things, and so this, based on what we can calculate and how we backed out our information to see where the error went, because when you make an error, clearly you don't write it down. And everything else of our master batch turned out okay. So what we think happened was that this was weighed on a scale that is incorrect, that doesn't weigh correctly. Accidentally used a scale during the move. We picked up one of our scales and it got put in our area, and that scale got used, and the water, so the lye water concentrate was in the master batch, and then it incorrectly got weighed. So I think there wasn't enough. The reason I think there wasn't enough water lye is because of the crumbliness. Now tell me what you think. See, that isn't correct. That isn't correct. And the oils came from a master batch. So that's what I'm thinking. Now, again, this can be molded into, at a certain point, you can push this back. But this might help you sort out when you have soap dough, you're making soap dough and it goes sideways, it might help you sort it out. So in the reverse of this, if this was really sticky, then you can see that if it's sticky, the two things that could be problematic with that is there's too much oil in there and not enough lye water, because oil is sticky, especially soft oils, which that rarely happens, but what usually happens is just too much water. And the lye water ratio is off, and if there's too much water, then it'll be really sticky. And if that's the case, what I've seen happen multiple times, and I know patience is really important with this, but in order not to just toss out your soap dough, if you have sticky soap dough, just wrap it in the plastic wrap and put it in a Ziploc baggie and just leave it. Or if you can watch it, just put it in a plastic bag and leave it out. But see, because what you want is the really slow, a slow evaporation. If you just leave it out like this, the outside, you'll get a crust on it. The outside will get hard and it won't be usable. But if you can wrap it up and then just leave it for a little bit and then come back to it, and what you're going to do is try and pull the water from the outside from the inside to the outside and then mash it all up, so the outside will be a little bit harder, because that evaporation starts to help the soap. Well, it just causes a skin on it essentially, and you want to move the liquid portion of the soap to the outside, and then the outside's a little bit firmer, the inside's softer. Anyway, but you could see, even with I just wiped my hands off, and you could see how beautiful that is. And I'm not bragging that it's beautiful. I'm saying that, I feel very fortunate to be able to achieve this consistency and almost regularly. And I do make errors. We make errors. We're really tired from the move and trying to get up to speed and get some colors in the soap dough coffers for you. But see that, and here's another thing. See, I don't know if you can see this little white that's starting to happen. Those are pieces that are starting to dry out. Now they're just really subtle. You probably wouldn't notice it, and this is easily, you could use this again and again. But the more you do this, basically, how when they do candy and they're making taffy or whatever, and they stretch it like this, they're putting air in it. Well, when you do this with soap dough, it dries it, and because it's water, it's being evaporated just as you're doing this, and so you want that really slow process so that you have time to mold it and mash it and do other things with it. The other thing too of a really good soap dough for me is when I don't, now if I rolled this out on my tabletop, I would have to use some sort of cornstarch. But if I'm just using my hands, I don't have to use any cornstarch. And the more cornstarch or arrowroot powder or any of that to keep it from sticking that you use, the more you're going to see it in your soap dough. It's not going to be like a true blue. There's going to be irregularities to it and whatnot. So anyway, I hope this helped you. I hope you can understand a bit what I was looking at. It's again, I'm not a scientist, and I won't even, say that I am. I understand somewhat, and it's still a mystery to me how it all sort of works, because some stuff just is beyond me. See how this sticks? I'm just not happy with it. See, I couldn't offer this. So I'll find some use for it and maybe force it to work. And it's still great soap. That's the other thing too. So, and even if your soap dough doesn't turn out, just let it harden and make it into soap bars, or chop it up and put it in another soap. As long as it doesn't burn your skin and, it's not that much lye heavy. And then here's my caveat for the lye heavy thing that, so many people make a fuss about. Our ancestors, not to say that this is ideal, but they used to make actual lye soap called lye soap, and it was lye heavy, and they did it on purpose. And people scrubbed floors, and they did things. They put their hands right into lye water. So I'm not saying that that's good for commercial purposes as far as giving it to others, but see, and the more I work with this, it's just you can see how crumbly it is. It's not good. So although it works like that, but that I think is the ingredients, not necessarily the performance of the soap dough. Anyway, so take it for what it's worth. I hope it helped you, and thank you so much for watching. If you can, leave a like, comment, and share, and let me know what you think. Okay.